What's up, y'all? It's your boy C3 Nick. Represent for the Common Sense Cult, as always. It's late. I got a couple things on my mind. Can't sleep, so just figured I'd go live. We'll wait for some people to come in. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Maya? What's up, Ivancha? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I see you all the time. It's not that I don't know you, but tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. Ivancha. How you guys doing? I'm going to talk about something that I think is much needed in this world, which is modern day dynamics between men and women. Gender relations, dare I say. Just some observations, things I've noticed that, I don't know, I just want to get you guys' feedback, see if I'm onto something or see what we can do about this world, because it's wild. I feel like men and women aren't really coming together, from what I see. And I think the numbers kind of indicate that too. From what I understand, in America, in China, in many other places, despite these fucking idiot New World Orders saying that like we're facing population surplus and overpopulation and all this bullshit, it's in fact a population collapse. Well, it's not collapse yet. It's population decline because nobody's getting together and having kids at a rate that is sustainable. Like I think it has to be 1.2 kids or something like that per one person in the country for them to be able to sustain that moving forward, for society to maintain. Anything less than that, it starts to fall off. And we are certainly not there right now. And, well, if it needs to be said, you know, I think it's pretty important, obviously. So, we'll see what we can get into with that. Just let me send out a couple of invites. We'll see if anybody decides to join me. Hey, what's up, Nate? How you doing, brother? If you're free, man, feel free to hop in with me. I'd love to have you. I'm doing a discussion on gender relations. Kind of want to heal the divides I see in this world right now. Because the way I was just saying, population collapse seems to be like a real thing. Elon Musk, he says that's the biggest problem that he sees in the future for people, not overpopulation, but population collapse. China, America, there's a lot of places where it's on the decline and it's not looking good. So, I kind of sounds good. See you in 5. Nice, Nate. All right, man. That's something to look forward to. That's a cliffhanger, folks. In the meantime, I should just get my system working. So, Maya, what's up with you? What do you see in the world with as far as gender relations and stuff like that? While we're waiting for some people to come in and give me a chance to set up my system and stuff. Family unit been attacked for decades. Fact. Big fact. And that's intentional. That's the communist. In the Communist Manifesto, there's certain tenets how to get a society to be taken over by communism, and two of the big ones are destroy the nuclear family and get rid of the strong men in society, because after that it's easy takeover. Traditional design appeals to me. Okay, I'm listening. I like that too. I think that we've gotten way too far away from that, and in fact it's been demonized and made out to look like it's a terrible thing or something, like for women to want to have that. Chicks these days more focus on cash and career. Bingo, dude. Bingo. Damn, that's bars. Hey, don't feel any pressure about this, by the way. But if you ever wanted to come on, I'd love to pick your brain about that. You don't have to come on the camera or anything if you don't want to. You can certainly stay in the chat too. But you're exactly right. I was just talking to a friend. This chick and she was like freaking out about a spider in the house or something like that. Like she legit lost sight of it. It got in her like cabinet or something, and so she couldn't sleep all night because this big gross spider's in her house. And like I was laughing about it. I was like, dude, no spider worries me. I don't care how big it is, Australian spider, whatever. Like I would kill that shit so fast. And it got me realizing like society has men or women so protected and provided for nowadays in almost every way that only something like a spider needing squashed or whatever is when maybe a woman realizes like, oh, I could use a man around. So like that's a problem. I'm super cam shy. Well, you don't have to come on camera if you don't want to, sweetheart. I'm sure you're fine. I wouldn't worry about coming on camera if I were you, but yeah, if you just want to come on and talk, that'd be great. I'd love to get a female perspective on this, especially yours, because you seem like you know what you're talking about. But because of that, since women are protected and provided for by Big Brother and society in general in so many ways that they really don't have much to worry about in terms of danger or famine or any number of things that men typically have served their purpose for that women couldn't survive without men before the way society's set up today. Literally couldn't survive. Men could survive without women. They couldn't reproduce, but they would survive. Women couldn't. And I know people will say that sounds sexist, but that's just what it is. Women were not equipped to be out there hunting and stuff like that. Changing back. Oh, word. Cool. Yeah, hopefully you can join. No pressure if you can't. What's up, Belly West? Yeah, I think women are trying to... But here's the funny part as I see it. Women, and I know a lot of them now, from having done the show and made these groups for the past year and a half, I've had women come into my life from literally all walks of life, from all over the world, all ages. Beautiful women, too, like very young, old, great, gorgeous ladies. And they're all seeming very unhappy to me and have no seeming... They don't seem to know what they're doing.
Hey, bro.
Yo.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's a party.
Oh, yeah.
I'm great. Hey, Maya's coming in with us real quick, too. So this is my friend Nate, everybody. He's the man. I could go on about this guy. He inspires me, frankly. But
You inspire me, my friend.
Hey.
You're the man, bro. Hey. What's up, Ma?
Hey, good and you?
Good. Is that an Australian accent I detect?
No, I'm going to leave you guessing.
Oh, man. You're...
Yeah.
Nice, Nate. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so uncultured, so I'm glad that you didn't make me keep guessing. Nate saved the day for me there, but
it's okay. Most people think so.
Well, again, no, I'm really bad at that, so I wouldn't be the one to know. But what do you see as far as men and women's relations from where you sit in the world?
Wow. In which way? I mean, there's so much decay going on. Oh, it gets me emotional.
Go on. How so?
Whew. Well, first of all, the family unit, the whole gay agenda.
Oh, my God.
And now, when you speak to young girls, for them, it's like, first I got to work, I got to earn money, and once I have my first vax and my second vax, then we'll start trying.
Which by then often is too late.
That's the mentality going on.
It's not going to work out at that point in their lives. They think they can have their cake and eat it too, but not just biologically and all that. If you've been aiming your whole life at a career and all this stuff, you haven't positioned yourself to be an ideal mate for a man who, dare I say, might be an alpha man looking to pick a mate to mate with, So by that point in their lives, it's over, too late. And by the time they realize that, it's really too late. In fact, my favorite, the guy who really influences me, named Jordan Peterson. He's a psychologist.
Yes.
And he, in his career, he worked for Fortune 500 companies, counseling their CEOs and stuff like that when they would go through depression and stuff. And he said he's talked to all these women who have reached the top of the career game, CEO, money, all that. And when they get to be 40, 50 years old, they're all, by and large, incredibly depressed. because they thought that they had time to become a mother at some point, or maybe they didn't think about it, whatever, but they're realizing at that point it's too late. Now, you could do it like my mother did. You could do it where once my dad had enough money, he was doing well enough, they decided she would stay at home and raise us until we grew up. And then she went and got herself a career as a realtor, and she kills that until she recently started retiring. But you can't do it the other way very often. Nate, any thoughts?
I agree with you. Like, there's different stages of men and women. If you look at like a David Data model, which is way the superior man, you've got like a macho jerk and a submissive housewife, and then the next level's like the hippie dude and the power suit woman. And the next level is where we all kind of integrate to something above that. And we're in the process of decay at the moment. And when things fall apart, they normally fall together. So I think we're just in the process of realizing what we are and what we're about. And there's going to be a bit of damage control along the way.
That's a great way to put it, my friend. Good spin.
Amy.
That's very comforting.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I try to be comforting every now and then.
I was going to say, Nate's good for that. I'll tell you that much. Well, here's a couple other problems I see that are going to happen. Have to be fixed. Women not only are protected and provided for by Big Brother and society in such a way that the man seemingly is unnecessary to them. And that's putting it nicely, because I came from an area where a lot of women were like, I don't need no man. Man ain't shit. And there weren't really many families, definitely many single mothers, more majority than otherwise. And that is a culture that's being bred by, not only are they protected and provided for, let's say she met an ideal man, perfect guy that wanted to be her husband and father, and he fit all the criteria necessary to do so. She still is at all times, if she gets pregnant by that guy, being incentivized financially by Big Brother to leave his ass. No matter what, at all times, if you leave him, I'll take care of you until your child becomes 18 financially. Just dump him. That guy that's giving you a hard time, the guy you're getting annoyed by, the guy that's not Prince Charming at the moment, you start kind of seeing through his veneer, he's farting too much or whatever, well, just dump his ass, and I'll fucking pay you for 18 years. That's the problem we're up against, guys. And for that reason, I actually hate to say this, but my family always likes asking at like holiday parties and stuff like, oh, I wonder what The Bachelor would do, when they're talking about like the nephews and nieces, what my brother and sisters are doing. And I was like, oh, you guys aren't going to like my answer, but if I had to advise my young nephews right now, I would say that the risk versus reward ratio of putting yourself out there with a woman like that in today's society simply ain't worth it for men. I don't see any upside to it, and it's way too risky.
What do you mean by that? Can you rephrase that? I kind of missed the end of what that meant. I heard it, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I'll elaborate. With the Me Too movement, where we believe women on the face of it, no matter what, basically, you could be this, and there's more than this, but this is a big part of it. You can be accused of pretty much anything by any woman at any time, and there's a fair chance that by much of society, she will just be flatly believed, and you will not.
Same
so like you can't
domestic violence to an extent. Same goes to
oh yeah.
There's a massive divide between the sexes at the moment, because there's so much trauma by design, and there's so much polarity to like understanding the nuances of the opposite sex. Like, men and women are so fucking different, and no one really helps men and women with the handbook of how to deal with your partner, how to have an effective relationship, how to speak and get your point across and make sense, how to know when you're out of sync with your partner. All that stuff, I think, is something that are skills people would very much benefit from, that they're not given as part of society these days.
Well, you know what? They're not receiving that from parents much of the time, because many are coming from broken homes, and they never had that modeled to them or taught to them whatsoever. I'm very fortunate in that regard. I came from, man, despite all the craziness and chaos in my family, my parents are a strong unit. And, you know, they're not perfect at all. Like, in fact, they're polar opposites and they drive each other nuts, but they're not divorced. They worked through it from literally from freaking the bottom now to incredible success. And they seem to be finding their stride. they've accepted each other. They understand the balance that they bring to each other.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing, frankly, if you ask me. Even watching them like freaking fight and drive each other nuts is kind of beautiful to me in some ways, you know?
Yeah, definitely. There's in everything, man. I used to watch my grandparents like abuse each other, and it was hilarious in a way, and also sad and also beautiful. There's many different layers to the way you look at. And when I mean abuse each other, I mean like he would cry because she would not give him money to go to the pub after he had to go do the shopping for her. Like shit like that. And this is my grandparents, right? And it's funny to see old people sort of do that. And she's bullying him with the money. And then he's emotionally like connected to getting out of the house and having a de-stress with his mates because he finds that as something that he really needs to do. And then she's taking that away from him. So he gets upset. So, you know, God bless them. They're all gone now. But I look fondly back on that stuff, even though it's a form of abuse, right? It's just what they did back then. It was, you know, and then he was a drunk before that. So, you know, there's parts of those things where you just got to accept that life by design is meant to break us down and drop us on our ass, right? And most of our parents did the best they could with what they had. Pretty much all of them probably did. And we've got to heal that relationship, but we've also got to heal the inner child relationship with ourselves, and then also heal your dark side. And if you are able to integrate those three areas of your life, you have a little bit clearer perspective on things, and you're a little bit more sure about what you want and what you need, and you're better at articulating that. And I think you have better, more healthier boundaries. So I think everyone's trying to work towards those things, even if they don't know consciously what they are. I think it's just a part of the nature of what this is in this reality. We're all meant to heal. We're all meant to get a bit better. And I think places like Canberra in Australia, it's going off right now, bro. It's fucking packed down there. It's good. And like Canada's doing the same thing, and New Zealand is starting to get a little bit of momentum. So
awesome, bro. I'm
about connecting.
That's beautiful. That's what it's all about. That's why I host these shows, frankly, and try to dive into these crazy hard topics. It's not because it's easy for me, or I don't get a lot of blowback from some people that, you know, just hear like one sentence or something and interpret it the wrong way and come at me sideways because I'm a sexist or whatever it may be. It's not like I enjoy that stuff, but I think it's necessary because we've all been so disconnected. We've all been so disconnected, and we've all been going through our own depressing little isolation. And I'm trying to use some digital simulations to supplement what we're lacking in the real world.
Yeah. You're bringing human connection to a two-dimension device that they've used as a way to spy on us and indoctrinate us.
Yes, Nate. You're flipping their shit against them. Using their shit against them. Exactly, bro.
100%. Yeah.
You see what we're doing here.
Yeah. It's the same thing I'm doing. We're all doing the same thing.
I know it, bro. That's why I love it.
This beautiful thing about the propagation of this information is that just the more of it that there is, the more powerful it is. Like it's a cascading waterfall of you can't fuck with us, this is the truth. And eventually it'll overcome whatever adverse thing, including the reactions that comes up against it.
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, I'm hearing like some feedback maybe in the background at times. Does anybody have something on, or is that maybe my system's always acting up with? Speaking of these guys spying on us and stuff, I'm an audio.
Yeah. They definitely spy
cool.
on us. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. I'm an audio engineer by trade, so I understand working through tech issues and stuff. Some of these digital anomalies that I hear on these audio lines sometimes, I'm like, dude, what the hell is that?
Hundreds.
You know, there's no explanation for it that I know of as a you know, well-established engineer. That means they're fucking around on the inside, doing something that I can't see or know. That's all I know. Somebody's fucking around and they're doing something is all I'd say about that.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah? What do you feel? Go on, Maya. Tell us more.
No, I just think that we're all in this together, you know, the male, the gender, the female thing. We're all under attack, and that's why we all have our moments, and so for some it takes longer, where we're depressed and anxious, and it's all by design, and we've got to try and like, you know, just head down and get through it together. And if you see your partner's full of shit or having a bad day, instead of like getting all aggressive and defensive, maybe we should just like approach it differently, you know?
Well,
like take the higher road. I mean, as cliched as it is, it usually solves the issues.
That's a,
Even if you feel the opposite, sometimes for the relationship, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but just that's in retrospect. Like I feel like I should have, could have, would have, will do it, but I didn't, and so it ended up the way it did.
what would you tell your
Which
younger
is,
self then? What would you advise your younger self to do differently?
wow. Phew, that's it, to put that ego aside, because that blocks a lot, and just be yourself and not try and fit in. Just be yourself and work from your heart.
Trying to fit in somehow threw you off?
With the social conditioning that starts at a very young age at school, you got to do this, act like this, wear this. Yeah, and that's what I try and pass on to my nieces and nephews, it doesn't matter if they think you're different and weird. Although it's easier said than done. I mean, when I was young and people told me that, it didn't really change anything, did it? But that's, part of the lesson, isn't it?
Okay, and another thing you brought up that I think is really, really important from my perspective. Women, especially, have seem to me, and this is just my opinion, you guys can tell me your perspective and if you're seeing something else. They have an ego about them or something to a point that they can't admit when they're wrong. And what I mean by this, it's to such a detriment that I'm like, look, I know that sometimes we all manipulate, we all do little lies and stuff here and there. I don't care. I'm laughing at the fact that you were lying, trying to manipulate me. Just own that. Just own that and we'll move on. We'll laugh about it, whatever. And they can't do it. They literally won't be like, no. I'm like, look, now you're starting to insult my intelligence and gaslight me a little bit, acting like I'm seeing something that's not there. I can't get past this. We could get through that lie. But if you're gonna keep digging in here, like, come on, like you're gonna die on this hill. And I don't know the last time I had a woman like admit she was really wrong like that.
Exactly. And I feel like it applies to guys as well, eh?
Yeah, to an extent, but guys admit they're wrong all the time because we have to, or else
More so,
you'll get
that's
in fights.
true. More so, but there are guys that don't.
What'd you say? Oh,
There
yeah.
are guys that
Beta
don't.
males.
But it's true, more so.
Sorry, go on.
I didn't hear you. Please repeat.
I said beta males.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Nate, thoughts?
I don't have any at this stage. It's a rare occasion, I know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I think I'm doing a podcast on it at the moment. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about to sort of start it. It's been rattling around in my head for a day or two. It's integrity, right? So the construct of how they've told you to be in a relationship with a girl is the first date you go on, right? You play the game up until like go on whatever app you go on or bump into them wherever you bump into them. You exchange numbers. You try and get to that first date scenario where they know this is a real thing now, right? So everyone plays a game to try and get to that point. And then after that first date, there's like a cordial time where you're meant to not contact the person and do these sort of things. And you have this scenario where you've got to approach it a certain way, shape or form. All these things by construct that most people play along with, like, are you going steady kind of things, or you're just sort of seeing each other, and all this loose terminology and everything else has no heart-centeredness, has no connectedness to the higher self, has nothing inside of it that has anything in it but a vanity and a lack of vulnerability. And that's the thing that's missing in the relationship. And it's the facade we wear in every aspect of life. It's like, it's okay for a business to fucking manipulate everything within the tax laws and rip off the system and rip off the people. But you'll also punish a person for a misdemeanor in a similar fashion, and those people that rip things off get away with it because it's part of the law, and they're looked at as honorable because they know the way the system works. If you look at the way things are sold, how much people make margins on certain things like products like food and different stuff, like the markups and margins, all these things that people do, if it was more transparent, people would look at it differently. If you made 300% margin on your private product, people would be like, fuck, you're a bit greedy, right? I think we've got this whole
Sure,
thing
I hear what you're
to
saying.
the way that we hide and manipulate what we are by default, by designing this system. And because of it, because we're not even real, right? We're like the dead name. So because we operate everything out of this dead name, everything's just a fraud anyway. So we never have any real life to this stuff we're trying to do in their system. We never really interact in it in a way that's really complete. It's always a fakeness. There's always a front to it. So when I go to try and sell you something, I'm not selling you something genuinely. I'm selling you something because I want to make the commission and get my capital for it, right? I'm selling it because I get my bonus if I sell it to you. Things have to be congruent.
It doesn't matter if you're satisfied or not. At your expense.
Fuck no.
I'll sell it at your
right.
expense.
It's
it doesn't
it's
matter as
always
long as
buyer
I
beware,
get that
right?
bottom dollar.
It's the used car salesman. It's the fucking Demtel guy. It's the guy selling shit on the internet. It's anyone trying to take as little advantage of even the fact that like they've used a market to get their attention and now they want to sell them steak knives and shit, right? Because there's a freedom movement, because people are hurting, it isn't now all of a sudden a time that you want to take advantage of people. In actual fact, you want to look at how you can help by giving something back where they don't cost anything for these people, right? That's what the people need right now. And you'll get returned in that in the future by sowing the seed, by doing the good deed, right? But don't expect something up front. You haven't done anything to expect anything up front. And this system's all about manipulation and taking advantage. We have to be smart. And we also have to go into things being more vulnerable, like relationship. Go into that first date and share a little bit more of what you really are, right? Because people won't get tricked to going out on a date with someone that they don't like for a second date if you tell the truth and they don't like you and you're not compatible.
That's a great point. We all go in trying to work a certain hour, present ourselves in such a way. Well, that's ultimately going to fuck you in the long run. Even if it works in the short term, she becomes, smitten by it, or he becomes, endeared to, whatever it may be.
It's a job. If you go just for jobs because that's right. If you go for jobs for pay, you're going to end up unhappy. It's never going to satiate you. No matter what you get, your expenses will just be a little bit bigger. The things you have will be a little bit shinier, a little bit more of them. But it's not going to make you feel any better. The stress level you get from it, the amount of time you don't get to use these new shiny things, it all compounds. And you've got to be smart about what you want to do with your time. You've got to be smart about what you need. You've got to be smart about where you and how you want to live and structure your life. Because although we are incarnated and reincarnated, as I believe, I'm still here for this one game to play. And I'm still here to leave all I can on the table with what I'm doing. And it's more about this life and being healthy and being an example and trying to change what this life's about. Because it's always been about hereditary trauma up until this point, as far as I can tell. Most of the loops before us, the demographics, the ages before us, I see a lot of unconscious trauma just pass through generations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially male to female abuse in particular.
Well, what have you seen in that regard? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of male abuse, but does it work the other way around, like female to male abuse?
Yeah, there's verbal abusive females. There's physically abusive women. There's women that use the kids as ammunition. There's just people that are toxic in as far as like it's a lot to do with attachment styles, bro. So if you have like an insecure attachment style where you're like clingy or you're ambivalent and you're not there and you're like detached, you're not really in the conversation, you're not listening, you're not paying attention, you lack empathy with the person, you're using them, you know that you never really want to be with them in the long run, but you're just with them now because it's convenient, but you don't speak about that. Yeah. Any incongruencies, anything to do with a relationship that doesn't up is basically going to be a failed relationship. And in essence, because you exchange, I said this on a call today with the client, because you exchange matter with people when you have sex with them, when you have relations with people, you want to be mindful of who you're exchanging your shit with, because you're also getting all of their previous partners in a quantum way as well, and in a DNA ancestral way as well, right? So really look at, who you share your bed with, really look at what you want to create in your life. And if you work on being what you can be, the right person shows up anyway, I believe. I truly believe that we're all destined to meet the right people at the right time. Timing's everything. And if you do the work, you'll see who shows up.
I couldn't agree more, man. Well said. On your sex point, yes, it's super important who you share your part, who you lay down with, and it's different for both men and women, but super impactful both ways. So, young men out there, I would advise you, don't go spilling your seed just willy-nilly like that. It is your life force, and when you give it, you want to make sure you're giving it to a woman who's going to receive it graciously in such a way that she's going to replenish you later through life, because you're giving her your energies. You're literally seeding her with your life force, which she can take and then draw from. And conversely, women, you are drawing every man's life force that you sleep with. So you should be choosy on who you're taking in like that, because otherwise you're going to get some energies that you don't know what it is, and it's going to impact you in strange ways, and you won't understand, and it's going to make you nuts.
Yeah, life force.
You might become addicted to him, even if it's a narcissist.
Yeah, life force and light
force,
Nate. Right? So dark and light, like you're going to get. And then that's the thing is, and then when you do have a relationship with like a narcissist or someone with a dark energy, a bad energy, or a vampire-esque energy, it's going to be draining and debilitating on you. And at first you might not notice it, but because it's like something that you've craved for, and then things change rapidly. So yeah, be very mindful of where you trade. Be very mindful of your relationships. At the same time, like for a young guy as well, like it can be one of the most impactful things on their life and change your trajectory dramatically. So for both men and women, like also for a girl, like don't just get pregnant early if you don't know what you're doing. Like you want to know what you're doing. It's you can have a very fruitful life by being smart and calculated about the time of when you have babies.
Good point, man. Good point. Hey, Rachel, don't feel like you have to join, but I'm intrigued by your comment here. Most common STI is HPV, and many don't have symptoms. And also your statement before that, women multiply what you give them. I couldn't agree more. And that's why young men, you need to be giving it to a woman who's going to multiply it in such a way that it comes back upon you to fulfill you. Otherwise, you're draining your life force in a way that won't be replenishable. It's just, it's unsustainable. And you'll deplete yourself, and she'll become less attracted to you as you lose that masculinity if she's not fulfilling it back into you, and it will crash and burn for you.
I have to address the comment. Mick's upset because we're not talking about right now and what's going on. Mick, this is about modern men and women, and the reason why my buddy Nick's talking about this is because this is something that's in his life and something that he comes to as something that's a growth part for him. So he uses his conversation to actually, go around what this is about for him and work things out, if I'm not mistaken. And what's going on right now?
What's he upset about?
He wants to talk about like Canberra and the stuff to do with like Canada and stuff like that, and what we need to do and stuff. The truth is, Mick, is that until there's leadership in that group, until there's leadership in that movement, that's not affiliated with any political party, that isn't a sellout to some backdoor of something, it's not worth even giving light to it. The reason why this conversation is more interesting, and I didn't go on someone else's live or do my own because I'm free again today. Woohoo! I'm back on live, baby.
Nice, out of jail.
Because this is a more interesting conversation. And to be honest, this satiates me more because people need this. Like, people that are in relationships right now are sucking at relationships. Right? And so, this is cathartic for people that are in that situation where they're like, I want to try and understand why it's going a certain way or what I can do differently, or I want to ask a question. So, yeah, I like the diversity of my boy Nick's conversations. He brings a lot of stuff to the table.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. And you said it, Mick, with all due respect, if you're looking for that kind of thing, this is not your spot, because I'm looking to do exactly opposite of that kind of thing. I'm trying to do the topics that, like,
higher vibration.
There's plenty of people covering that there's plenty of people covering that kind of thing in a great way, and it's vitally important, and I support them the best I can. But I feel that we all still have to remember to have fun in this world. We have to talk about other topics outside of the geopolitical spectrum, and we have to lighten up sometimes, you know?
We do.
There's a time and a place for that, but that's what my intention is with these shows. To be that time and place, you know, if I can.
100%. That's the idea of what you're trying to do. It's and it's so important to it, right? Like there needs to be in that echo chamber of only talking about that. It's like the 24-hour news. They never fucking shut up about the last terror thing that happened or whatever it is. Like they're constantly on that thing, and that thing goes to the next thing that goes to the next, and it's just never-ending exhaustion, right? So when you have these sort of
Nate
situations, yeah.
No, sorry. I think you're a little delayed on me or something. I keep interrupting you. I don't mean to, dude.
That's okay, bro. Go for it.
Well, real quick, we just had a funny troll in the audience. So, you know, Nate, you and I seem to get this a lot. Watch this, guys. Stacy, what have we got here? The two biggest fucking losers in the movement offering relationship advice. I will put my house on the fact that you do not accept this live request right now.
Hey, Stacy, come on, Stacy.
She will not come on. I'm going to invite her right now. Watch, guys. Not only does she not come on, I bet she'll disappear from the comment section within a few minutes because she won't be able to fucking stand up to this. Come. Let's see how good looking you are. Let's see how not much a winner you are. Let's see what kind of catch you are.
It's a picture of a dog at the moment. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go check her out.
Big shot. Yeah, she declined. There it is. No surprise. Big shot. I bet you wouldn't even come on camera. You're so gross. Let's see what kind of catch you are.
Stacy.
Yeah, she declined. Surprise, surprise. Let's see if she left here too. Big fucking coward. These people are so funny. These keyboard warriors. I'm not even in the mood. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know me. I've never seen you. So weird. I guarantee you don't have a husband. I guarantee you don't have a
photo of a donkey and a dog is a fucking photo, or a donkey is just a donkey.
Nate, put it on screen. Put it on screen. Let everybody see. Let's expose her.
What? Hey, troll. Why you follow? Why you follow me? Why you like this? I do not get it. You donkey face. Yes. She
is single. That is a single woman. I would put money on it. There's no way any man deals with that.
Lady. She might be a crazy cat lady. But anyway, back to us. Back to like sensible conversation about relationship advice. Go home, Stacy. Karen, you've had enough. Sit down. Anyways.
No, we just had to slay that. We just had to slay that troll real quick. I love slaying trolls, man. I love when trolls show up on my bridge.
You know, they never come on. I wish they come on. It's
what a surprise!
To get someone to come on.
Oh, dude, they never come on. You know what, Nate? I slayed a long-time troll a couple days ago on my friend's live. Middle of the night, like people were hitting me up to come in, and he's been avoiding me forever. Never would go on camera because he was always like punking me and just very, very, very manipulative, mean dude. And anyway, but he was avoiding the confrontation, and I slayed him in front of everybody for like a good 30 minutes. I've been getting hit up by like 50-some people, like what you did to Mitch is incredible because everybody knows him to be a terrible manipulator and just a very frankly dangerous person if you ask me in a lot of ways. So like it was so satisfying, bro. I even just like rewatched my performance earlier today. I was like, there's nothing about that I regret. I'm very happy with my I don't think he'll be coming around anytime soon.
I used one of our episodes of the podcast the other day. I had to edit the fuck out of it because that stupid quantum fucking loser was in it. And I was like, I'm not going to try and have to explain what fucking that idiot was talking about. So I was like, I'm just editing this thing. So yeah, it was annoying because they can't see anything that is written because it's audio. And I'm just like, that loser's in there. And I'm like, I just want to delete it. So yeah, it was challenging to get rid of, but I got it all out of there pretty much. It's annoying, right? Like you're on a train of thought, things are going good. And then some fucker will say to me, your mum's so... You're like, fucking really? Like, you came onto our fucking live. It's 9:05 here in Australia. I don't know what time it is wherever that fucking Stacey woman is. Let's call it crazy cat time. But yeah, I don't know. Like people like this, they make me sad in a way, but they also make me happy because I'm like, when the zombies come, they'll hunt someone like her, and I'll just be like,
Bro, they don't make me sad at all. I have a make my day kind of attitude with people like that because I'm a very caring person. I don't want to get anything but along with people. And I overextend myself sometimes at the expense that somebody might mistake my kindness for weakness. But I have a savage side of me that's been tested since I was a kid that will happily scorched earth your ass if you make me. That's the way I look at it. I try to give you every extension of grace. And if you make me go to that mode, I'll eviscerate you as swiftly and best I can, and I'll sleep just fine that night because I had to. You made me do that. And maybe if somebody would have done that to you when you were younger, you wouldn't be such a bitch now.
Yeah, that would be a good way to put it. The thing I don't get right is that she's still in the fucking feed. So,
oh, I know, man. She's sitting there silently watching. Hey, Nate, did I not call it that within moments she would not be commenting even?
Give me more cannon fodder. Do something. It's boring when you're just there and like a creepy person in the background, stroking your cats.
Think of how weird an existence that must be.
I don't know, man. I don't
know. She's sitting there watching us for some reason. She's hating on us, but
there's a lot of hate,
I bet she would fuck me, by the way. The fact she's hating on us, I bet she would fuck me. Like, there's something here. Why are you watching us then? Nobody's putting a gun to your head. Get the fuck out of here. You know? I don't care if you watch or not. What are you doing?
What were we talking about? Men and women, that's right.
I bet you couldn't fuck me, by the way. I bet you could not fuck me, whatever her name was.
No, let's break down little Stacey's personality for a second, right? So, what is a classic Karen? What's the thing about a Karen? A Karen's generally bitter, right? Bitter with the world. She's bitter with men in particular. Karens generally have a hard time with men, especially men with authority, which is any man that says a word to her, because she just thinks then that there's a problem with them, that they're challenging her. So you could just say, like, where do I put my trolley, Karen? And Karen actually works putting trolleys away, and she'd just be like, don't tell me what to do. So people like this, I think we've got a problem with, and they're just a part of society that is what it is. But I think the psychology of it is that they're damaged from their relationship somewhere along the way with the man. And it's maybe from childhood, and it's maybe their dad that's the damaged relationship. And instead of turning into a stripper, she turned into a crazy cat lady. And now she yells at everybody that comes to put their trolley away, and it's just what it is. I feel sorry for people like that. I send my sympathy to people like that. But at the same time, like, I won't be around people like that, and I'll distance myself from them because they're toxic.
No. Speaking of that, dude, we successfully got rid of her. We roasted her ass out of here. She's no longer here. Mission complete. But I'm with you, bro. I feel sorry for them as well, and that's why I say that's why I fucking savage them the way I do. Because again, had somebody done that to them to a smaller extent when they were younger, at certain points in their lives, they probably wouldn't be the way they are.
I didn't block that Quantum guy. I didn't block him. I left him around. I think he's still on.
Me either, bro.
I blocked other 70 pages of his, but I didn't block the one. I left it. And then I went into one of his posts, and I'm like, bro, 7,000 people follow you. This is what you spend your time doing, going onto other people's pages and trolling them. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you producing good content and being a fucking smart person about it? Why aren't you, like, trying to help fucking fix the situation we're in? Like, you've got a truth of page, you follow truth of people.
Well, I do the same. I've never blocked him. I don't block anybody, because if I need to block somebody, I'll do what I just did to Susan or whatever, and eviscerate them with my words, so they're so scared they don't want to come around. I don't need to block them, but I didn't block him, and I eventually ended up reaching out to him after that, and was just like, why? Because he followed me again or something, and I was like, why do you follow me if you don't like me? Like, seriously, honest question. Because I'm genuinely curious. I have nothing but sympathy for somebody like that, because I do feel bad for them. Like, they must have be going through something. And so, long story short, I just want to put it out there. He ended up, like, opening up to me a tiny bit, and I came to realize he's not a bad person, just like I thought he wasn't. He's just going through some stuff or whatever and lashing out really hard. And it doesn't excuse what he did. It was definitely lame, but yeah, that's why you do that. And hopefully, him or anybody else that's going through that stuff will come around, because I don't know. If you can't get along with Nate, if you can't get along with this guy, dude, I don't know. Something ain't right. Something ain't right in your world, and I feel bad for you. Like, Nate's a great, easy guy to get. We hit it off from the day we met.
You have moments where you get, like, upset, and I have moments where I get upset, and people get offended by that sometimes. I get a lot of people that get offended by swearing. I'm like, it's 2022, and you have a problem with swearing. It's like, I
fucking know, bro.
I'm quite amazed by people that get offended by the swearing these days. It's like, for me, I'm like, really haven't come to that conclusion yet. There's way more to worry about than me and my P's and Q's.
Dude, there's much bigger fish to fry in this world, first of all. Second of all, I always say I don't have the offended bone. You couldn't offend me if you tried. Nobody. Because I don't give anybody the power over my emotions like that, where I care enough about somebody else's opinion that whatever they say is going to affect me. It's like, okay, you think that way, or you said something that's terrible, you're a piece of shit, and I don't care either way, because I don't care that much about what you think. Yeah, I would never respond like, oh my God, or something. But with swearing, dude, my generation, me and my brother, and we used to say to my parents, because they would always give us a hard time about the swearing, we literally swear. It's just another word. We don't even think twice that it's a curse word. It's just kind of part of the lexicon, part of the vocabulary. So, I don't know. To be offended by that, like, you're very sensitive, and I'm surprised you made it this far in this world.
How can a word be the most beautiful word and the most gross word? How can it be everything on the spectrum? Fuck is the most versatile word in our spectrum. You can say fuck you as to someone like, you're a bad person. I can say fuck, you're funny, right? I can say, I'd like to fuck you, right? I can be into you. It's the most intimate thing we can do with a person. It's also you can fuck someone up. It's also the most violent thing you can do to a person, right? This word is such a diverse offering, and to take it from my vocabulary would be limiting me in a great sense, because I use it in quite a diverse way to express myself. I think it's a wonderful word, right? Fucking A.
I remember, I couldn't agree more. I love that word. There's no fucking way I'm going to stop saying fuck, I'll tell you that.
As fuck is one of the most common lexicons in this modern era. Something as fuck. Sorry, it is.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to stop saying fuck.
No. And the thing is, I don't care about getting fucking people to follow me. I want you to lead. Don't fucking follow me. Don't follow anyone. Fucking learn something from us and take a step forward. And if you want to do it without swearing, by all means do it. I might even still watch you. You might be a little bit more boring, but it's okay. I'll still watch.
Yo, my boy Adam, this is the dude I grew up with, man. This is my brother from another mother. He said, I love the Aussies.
The C word's a hard word. I'm still not completely comfortable with the C word. Like, I do say it occasionally. Even
I love you guys.
It's not a word that I like saying that much.
When they say you cunt or whatever, like, I love that too, man. I'm so with you, Adam. It cracks me up. How flippantly.
No,
it's just flippant. Like
an Irish person says it. If an Irish person says those words, I fucking laugh. Like a Paddy says
it. Me too, man.
Well,
it cracks me up every time.
Inside. I used to be a security guard. I used to occasionally get a drunk Irish guy. I'd tell him, "I'm sorry, you can't come in," and he'd say that to me. He'd be like, "You can't do that to me. You can't." And I'd be like, "That's when I hear them say that, it makes me laugh."
Yeah, I feel good inside for some reason.
Yeah, they're funny people, and it's a funny word as well. And especially if a woman uses it sometimes, but then it's a very vulgar word as well. So it has mixed connotations.
Oh, it's definitely a vulgar word. And if I was trying to totally freaking degrade a woman or for something like that, that would be the word I would use. Like, it definitely has connotations like that. You can't just go around. But that's what cracks me up about it. I think Adam would probably agree. Like, the fact that they use it so flippantly just throughout everyday conversation is like, dude, that's the C word. And like, they're just like, that fucking cunt.
Tradies and shit are fucking terrible. Or even like, if you get young lads out in the suburbs, out in the west of Sydney or whatever, and you get them in there like between like 14 and like 17, they'll think that's the thing to say to act tough. So they'll just say like bad things, and then at the end of it, it'll be you see, and it's just like, fuck, really.
That's hilarious.
Like,
he said, my Aussie friends say it as a term of endearment towards me.
Yeah, Aussie people would say that. Yep. We're a different breed. I'm meant to be upside down as well, but yeah, we're a different breed upside down in Australia.
Yeah, so they say you're upside down, huh?
Yeah.
Down under and upside down.
Yeah. So it's interesting, yeah, but I think the men and women thing has to be something that has to heal. I think it happens by men coming to their heart space and really connecting what they are. And I think from then, women will feel safe and vulnerable, and women will act accordingly when they're able to come to their high heart center and actually understand what's going on. Because at the moment, everyone's acting from lack, and they're acting from the lower primitive heart center where guys just want to fuck everything. And then girls just want love and don't want to be manipulated, but then end up getting manipulated. So there's this vicious cycle between the two, especially when they're younger. So I think that all needs to come to a different level of integrity. And I think that'll come through better teachings and better understanding from elders and people like that who pass on information to the younger people. Because I think at the moment there's no leadership in it. Everyone's like, the problem with society and the way it's designed now, brother, is that it's governed by fucking anarchy and Babylon. They want you to have TikTok because TikTok grooms girls for OnlyFans. They want everything to be the way it is because it sets everything up the way they want it. Where you're drugged out of your mind by staring at your fucking phone, getting shit things in your head every day, and then, you know, going to bed late and sleeping uneasy and sleeping in a room full of fucking Wi-Fi and radiation from all the electricity in your walls. Like, get outside, like, literally every day in ground. Get out in the sun and ground. Me and Asad have been talking about that heaps lately on lives about being outside.
Oh, yeah. Assad taught me to sun gaze, and that's been going great. Yeah, there's a lot to that. But back to kind of the men and women thing, like, as far as behaviors, the way I see it is that men have kind of been, at least in the Western world, men have been disempowered in a lot of ways. In the sense that, like, we couldn't bring about change in the system to stop women from being financially incentivized by the government to leave them if they get pregnant. Like, that, nobody cares what we think in that regard, and they would say just like abortions or something like that. It's like you have no opinion, you don't have any opinion in this matter. So the reason I say that is, if things are to change to any successful extent, if you ask me, despite men typically being the ones that are more than willing to take the lead and problem solve and provide solutions and fix things, we can't right now, and we'll have to be supporters from the sideline of you guys who lead the charge of change. And it's not going to be easy for you because you're getting financially paid off to do these things. It's very, very nice. It seems great right now. Why would we stop that? Well, what's happening is you guys are ending up unhappy and alone. Maybe okay. Maybe the government's taking care of you financially and whatnot, but you're unhappy and you're alone because men are starting to learn and they're not putting themselves out there anymore. Because it's like I was saying about earlier, I would advise my nephews, it's too risky. There's no upside, and the downside is catastrophic from my perspective, the way it's set up.
Stacey said to me again, Stacey, I'm a donkey head done, said, the word on the street is you both have really small ding.
Yeah, I bet that bitch would like to know. Wouldn't you like to know?
Hey,
you ain't going to find out, Stacey. I'll tell you that much.
Word on the street.
Wouldn't you like to
people
know?
on the street are talking about us, about our penis. Is fantastic. Thanks for that,
Hey, Rachel,
Stacey.
Jinx, Rachel. Yeah, I know Stacey would like to know. That's a fact.
Stacey.
Yeah, right.
How big's your donkey? Stacey.
Ah. Yeah, I bet there's an ass on that one. Huh?
You go all Animal Farm when you're donkey, don't you, Stacey? We know you do. It's okay. It's okay.
Stacey, you know what? If you want to keep hanging around and trolling us, that's fine, for real. I don't give a shit. But I'm not going to let you just sit there in the comments kind of taking us distracting-wise. I'm going to invite you in one more time. If you don't accept, if you continue to control us from the comments, I'll have to ban you. I'll have to boot you out because we're not going to let you take this thing over, okay?
So man or woman or donkey up, whatever you're going to do, just come
Oh, no. Let's see if she runs away before I can even invite her. Oh, no, the invite's out, folks. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, decline. So watch this, guys. Let's count it down. Oh, amazing.
Hi, Stacey.
What's up, Stacey? Thanks for joining us. Oh, I bet she accidentally hit accept because it don't sound like she wants to. Oh, wait, she's glitching out.
Oh, she's got the wheel of death. Stacey's going. That didn't take long. But Stacey stuffed up.
You don't know, the wheel of death tells me that she's actually having some tech issues, maybe. So hopefully she's actually. I'm surprised. Hopefully she joined. Proves me wrong. I'd be happily surprised by this.
She was there for a second.
She did, but Nate, I'm wondering if it was an accident. Here, I'm gonna have to boot her and bring her back in, but we'll see here. Stacey, you would impress me. You would surprise me and impress me if you decide to sack up and come out here and
she was
stand behind your words or whatever.
I tried to get a screenshot of her face, but I missed it. Anyway, Stacey, have a chat.
She ain't even in here. She probably lost connection signal. If she shows back up again,
I think it was a chick.
Oh, it was Stacey because it was Stacey could be a guy. Dude, that's always what I assume on the internet when I meet
Excellent.
people until proven otherwise. Because even if they have a great picture or whatever, I don't know what's on the other side of that thing. I assume it's like some gross, old, fucking middle-aged dude, you know, until proven otherwise. I've been happily surprised a couple of times. I've met a couple of great girls online reaching out to me for these shows over the past year who I kind of just talked to that way, as if they were just some man. And we ended up developing quite a bond through doing that. And then it turns out like they're freaking gorgeous young ladies from like all over the world. And they, you know what I noticed about that, man? And I've noticed it kind of through my whole life, but especially this past year with all types of women from all walks of life all over the world. I don't think that women, especially the hotter the woman, is ever approached intellectually or for her person in this world very much.
No.
They're always being either judged by other women or manipulated by men and put on a front because men want a certain thing out of them. So when somebody comes along,
by men because they're intimidated, or always sleazed on by men.
yeah, whatever
like,
it may be. But,
it's polarizing as fuck. There's nothing like in the middle bit where it's normal. It's fuck.
Well, so when a guy comes along like me who is treating them like a person who genuinely is interested in what they have to say and talking to them, it ends up like endearing to them a lot. They appreciate it a lot.
Yep. What happened to Stace?
I'll check to see if she's still out there. I think her. I mean, she's back. I'll invite her again. Stacey, come on back in. We appreciate you. I didn't boot you or anything. You just froze up. Honestly, I'm impressed.
Like I'll actually listen to your point of view. Except
I won't be mean.
I'll laugh at the small thing.
I'm impressed that you jumped in. Frankly,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
She's not there, but you have bigger pelotes than a lot of people. Like a lot of people aren't really brave to jump. They start to talk shit.
Almost all of them aren't, and that's why I call them out just the way I do, because I know it's just like a bully or something. When you confront a bully head on, they don't want that, and that's why I'm so abrasive with like my shit. Like if somebody's challenging me, it's like, all right, you want to do that? Let's go. And because 9 times out, even if you're tough men, real men who have been through fights in this world, we understand that even if I win, there's still real serious chance I'm going to be like coming out of this regrettably, like worse off. So we don't look to fight. We want to avoid fights often as possible and be civil and work through it with one another. That's why when people look, especially adult men, when they're instigating and stuff like that, I'm like, this guy's a phony. He's a fake poser that I'm going to punk him so bad right now and just put him down. Cause like they're all talk, no walk. Just fucking idiots. A lot of men like that out there.
You never, in those situations, you're never really worried about the really noisy one. It's always the quiet ones you want to watch.
Yes. And it's always the ones that are not putting on a real men walk.
Bravado.
Real men walk the walk. They don't talk the talk.
Remember how we were talking about integrity before? That's the same thing, right? They're fronting. They haven't got the real thing inside of them, so they can't just show that. They've got to make everyone believe there's something that they're not. And that's where if you can smell that stuff, you can smell that stuff.
So my buddy and Rachel wanted him to clarify. I think I know what he's talking about. He said,
"Yeah, go for it."
Yes, she declined. He said, "Women are born with their value. Men have to create their value." So, in the sexual marketplace, men are born into this world inherently with no value. Nobody's. You understand from a very young age as a man, like nobody's necessarily looking out for me or coming to help or anything like that. I have to do things for myself and take care of myself. And as you start doing that over time, you start to accumulate some sexual marketplace value because, you achieve more finances, you become more successful and whatnot. Women are born into this world.
You're talking about an adult man and
hang on.
Worth to a woman or worth to the market.
Sexual marketplace value. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Women on the other
end.
You're
saying when he's like 18 and just come of age, he's worth nothing in comparison to when he's built a little bit of an empire. He's later in his life. He's a little bit more experienced with sex, with money, with everything. That he's more valuable to the market.
Yes, because he has to earn his value at all times. In fact, a man even has to earn sex every time. Like women will never even understand a man's plight with sex. And when women are like, "Oh, he's so desperate and thirsty," and all that. There are many gross, terrible, thirsty guys out there. Don't get me wrong. But you know why? Because we have to earn it every time. You women could literally walk outside and snap your finger and have sex with a plethora of suitors to choose from. Any given time you want. Men can't ever do that. Men have to earn sexual interactions. So just that in there. And that brings me to the point. Women are born with value sexually. Men covet women like that. So therefore,
Yeah.
a woman could literally meet a man. A woman could find a man that would let her move into her house that day. I've seen crazy stuff like this. Men, we gotta take care of ourselves out here. Nobody's gonna looking out for us like that. And we come to learn that over time. And so through doing that and taking care of ourselves all the time, we inherit some value. We grow. Most men should accumulate some value and become more attractive on the sexual marketplace accordingly. Women who are going down the sexual marketplace value because their physical looks degrade as we get older. The problem is the reason they're going down is because they don't realize that the inherent benefits that they're getting from being sexually coveted by men. They just, I mean, how could they? It's just the life they were born into. But as those looks kind of go down and younger girls come about and they're starting to see that like it's not going as far as it did for them, they come to a sudden, what Kevin Samuels calls the wall at like maybe 30, 35 years old, where they realize like, damn, this isn't going to get any better. And I didn't invest in anything like personality skills or other redeeming qualities that could, otherwise make up for the. Well, I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying like that many women face this because they're not taught this. They're not taught this from a young age, and they should be. And that's why I say, again, I get flamed a lot for saying this stuff, but I do it for women as much as men. And so it's funny. God is a funny guy like that. Men are born with none and grow to have a lot. So we start off with no value, nobody coveting us and all that. And don't forget I'm saying that because women are going to get mad that I'm saying like theirs goes down. Well, guess what? We didn't have any to start with, so I don't feel that much sympathy for you. We've had to earn ours, and I'm liking seeing the upside at this point in my life. But secondly, I say it because if you don't realize these things are going on, you're going to come into a very rude awakening at some point in your life as a woman. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to. And this brings me back to why many women think that they can have their cake and eat it too with children. And just like have a career and focus on that in their younger years, which are, by the way, your most ideal years to produce a optimal, healthy child and raise them properly, and let alone find a mate that's suitable to do that with, who wants you, like a high status alpha male, not just some fucking scrub that's coming around looking to get laid and you can beta-tize him and keep him around forever. You will not be able to do that later on because you thought you could have your cake and eat it too because the world has been given to you up to this point until you start going down the sexual marketplace value. And then it's a very rude awakening. That's why older ladies are incredible to young men. You ever notice that? They're like, oh, hi, sweetie. And the older ladies are the only people in this world that are nice to young men, I feel like, and really, really treat us well. And this is just something I've noticed. But it's because I think they start to realize, like, how those young men are dealing with it. It's like, oh my God, I couldn't just go out and have my pick of many men right now. And I'm not being lusted after and whatnot. Oh my God, is that what they go through since they've been born? Is that what they've always been going through? Oh, sweetie, hi, sweetheart. Oh, yeah, it's okay. And I honestly think that could be a big part of it. That's just my speculation, but chime in, people, if you're out there.
I've never put much thought into it, but it's a potential, yeah. Look, I think that there's something to offer in all different aspects and ages of people in their sexuality and their value and their worth and their understanding. I think that the general theme for both men and women is like a period of expansion in life and then a period of contraction or multiple periods. And I think that as a man, you're kind of contracted at the start to an extent with like what you're saying as far as when you get to an age of an adult man. And as a woman, you have more, I guess, I can see where you get your value idea from. But I guess my idea of what I'm thinking about is more, a woman can, and this will be controversial because I don't really get controversial. Hey, is this the chick?
Hey, Nate, how you going?
Good, how are you?
Hey, Nick, how are you going?
Hi, sweetheart.
I just thought, let's get a woman's opinion.
I'd love
Thank
it.
God.
I'll listen to you guys and maybe chime in, but happy to, check it out.
Yeah, what have you taken on so far? What do you think's good and bad and different? What's your ideas?
I just think men and women are pretty much wired differently, to be honest.
Yep.
And we've been brought up with different value sets and what we should or shouldn't be doing, and that kind of, has a bit of influence on how we live our life. So, like when I've got relationship issues, I always speak to my male friends first, going, tell me what the man thinks about this situation, because
Smart.
girls can get a little bit meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
I want like a grounded, down to earth, like I'm a pretty grounded person. So yeah, I just want like, proper opinions.
And men can read through the deceiving words that you use. As like men are almost professional
girls can
politicians
be
in a way
very
with, like,
manipulative.
double speak and shit like that, right? Oh, girls can be as well. Don't get me wrong. But there's
Totally true, but women are terrible
terrible
as well.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Go on about
100%.
women being terrible with manipulations. It's called shit testing, okay? That's what we call it. And what you're doing, I don't even think women realize that they're doing this a lot of the times necessarily, or why. But you're constantly poking and testing and prodding a guy to determine if he's actually walking the walk to what he's talking the talk.
Worthy.
Well,
Like,
whether he could be the alpha male in your life. Yeah, whether he could be an alpha male in your life. You're trying to find out if he's an alpha or a beta, and he's going to do a good game pretending he's an alpha, but you shit test the hell out of him to prove that. And sometimes you'll shit test him into a spin. You'll see him get crazy and emotional. You might make him mad on purpose, and you don't even know why. Well, guess what? It was to see how he would respond in that situation. See if he gets too emotional like a woman would and fuck it all up and freak out, or if he stays calm and steady.
You know what, Nick? What's also a problem? Yes, you test people to see how far you can push things, but I think guys are a bit confused because women want to be equals, right? But then they still want the guy to be a gentleman and open the door and be the man. It's like, so...
Thank you. Great point. This is an incredible point. It's an impossible role for a man to fulfill right now because...
Correct.
You're supposed to treat a woman with respect and equally and whatnot, but is it all right if I make love with you and have sex with you? A woman don't want that. That's not gonna turn her on. She wants you to take her and fucking ravage her. But she'll never tell you that. She'll never tell you that though, and you can never say that out loud. So it's just done behind closed doors and quietly. But the reason for that is because women are wired to want to sexually procreate with dominance. An alpha male who gets what he wants in this world, takes care of himself, fucking the world, respects him, appreciates him, even does whatever. He's a guy that I know if I hitch my wagon to him, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be very well off. That's what a woman subconsciously is driving her, whether she realizes it or not.
I don't understand women that think that a man's going to come and save them. They're not going to give you a house. They're not going to give you a car. They're not going to give you a family. You need to be a complete person for them to complete you.
I don't know, hon. I might have to do some pushback there. I think a man would provide you a house, a car, and all that stuff if he found you to be his mate that he wants. And because of that, maybe I dare suggest women shouldn't focus so much on making themselves so independent and stuff, and maybe focus on how can I make myself a more complimentary, compassionate, compatible mate?
Yeah.
To land a good suitor like that will provide all that shit for me, no problem. Because men will move mountains for women that they love, like my dad for my mom, and sometimes do it in ways that the woman doesn't even know he did it, and he never wants to take credit. He won't even tell her because he doesn't want to make her upset or feel any sort of way about it. But they'll do that in silence because they love her that much. And they'll just do it, and that's it. And you women don't even understand how far a man that loves you will go for you. And I think that's the problem. Men have not been reliable enough or come through on that kind of end enough in enough ways for women to see that you be independent. You don't have to worry about providing for yourself and working until you're 75 years old and then dying alone. You could actually have a mate that will really help you with that and let you take the load off. So that, because most men, in my understanding, and there could be outliers. I'm not trying to generalize here or say anything to everybody do what they want, but you want, and I certainly feel this way. I would love to protect and provide for my woman in such a way that she doesn't have to do that for herself and be so hard like a man. And so she can be her soft, natural, nurturing self and stay at home and do the most important job in the world for me, which is raising my children, which I can't trust anybody else to do but her. And I need her to somehow, when I come home from slaying dragons all day, to provide that castle for us, be my my softening from being such a hard man in this world, having to fight everybody off all the time. Just be there for me and to compassionately look after me, take care of me in that regard. And guess what? I'll fucking go get the world for us every damn day and come home happy to do it.
Love it.
Yeah, what do you think, Nate?
I like that bit. I really like what he just said. I think that everyone has to stop the games and really come to a relationship with like playing for keeps. Like, even if you're not fully interested in someone, just be honest. You got nothing to lose. Like, now's the time to like level up with integrity in all conversations, in all relations. And for men, it's like, stop playing games. And for women, it's stop putting men through the ringer.
Stop being
Good men
bitchy.
through the ringer in particular. Yeah.
How are you single? What the hell? I might have to freaking come find you and propose to you. Shit. You're saying all the right things, woman.
Oh, too
I'm
funny.
getting out of
Yeah,
here.
single from today, I think, actually. So,
Nate, hit the road, bro. I got a sock on the door. Don't come in.
stop it. Stop
All
it.
good, bro. I'm out of here.
If there's a sock on the door when you come back, don't come in.
Nate, stay, please.
Definitely. It's like, honestly, I think that men and women have an opportunity now to come to a different level of understanding with this, and it's going to take another thing that came up before was like, stop being competition for each other. Everyone's
Yes.
get. I want to get. I'm getting
So
like,
true.
I want to get laid, right? I want to get the diamond ring.
Nate,
it's
say
really
it
not
louder
that
for the folks in
difficult.
the back, bro.
It's really not that difficult, is it? Like, seriously, as
Yeah.
Nick said, walk outside. It's not hard.
The proposal, right? I want to get all that stuff, right? But then there's the other part of it where you're collaborating, right? Collaborating is beauty because you're both in the same flow. You have a common goal. You want to work towards the same thing together, and you're like cheering each other on, right? When you come home to someone who's competing with you, it's like, my day was harder than yours. It's a fucking uphill battle. But if you come home to someone who was like, how was your day? Oh, this was good. That was shit. Oh, yeah, did you do that? Oh, you did really good with that. Congratulations. Someone who's sort of spurring you on and making you feel good.
Yeah, Nate.
This is
That's
why-
a very different relationship with someone who's, yeah.
Communication is so important, but it's also important to support your partner.
We're complementary
Because-
pairs as men and women, generally speaking. We work well as a complementary pair. We are lacking greatly if we don't have a complementary pair like that, if you ask me. And this is, again, generally speaking, if people are outliers or don't want to fall into this, that's fine. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. But I'm saying, if I were a woman, I would be trying to find me a seriously alpha male, because I know that I could just, like, I always tell my mom, like, dude, if I were you, I wouldn't be trying to negotiate this. You have the most savage negotiator I've ever seen it as your husband. Like, why don't you unleash him on them? Just fucking point him in that direction, and he'll take care of this for you and do it in a way that you could never, like. So that being said, I'd be looking for that. Conversely, as a man, I'm looking for a woman who can comfort me and nurture me and stuff when I come home, so I can turn that off for a little while. So I want a woman that when I come home to my castle, she's there, like, having made sure the castle is comfortable and great for me as possible when I get there. So that way, when I come home, I recharge my batteries, making me better productive when I go out for us. And it's a perfect system. We'll flourish. But nobody seems to get that. Like Nate said, everybody's too about what's in it for me, or insecure about, like, going the distance or anything. Like, I don't know.
But
Same
don't you
thought.
think society is just too self-involved, and there's no sense of community, there's no sense of values? Like, there's so many things that are lacking at the moment in human beings, which is why everything's falling to shit.
I
They're
can
too
agree with that.
selfish,
By
they're
design,
too
right?
self-centered. 100%, 100%. But, you know, like, shit's got to change.
So how do we go about doing that? Like,
Look,
constructively.
Similar to anything, like often with therapy and stuff, people, a breakdown is actually an awakening. So a lot of people come to their realization, their reckoning, their point of like no turning back, rock bottom, whatever you want to call it, and then come out of that and then end up in a better place because they have a new outlook on things. I think that a lot of relationship has been tested over the last 2 years. I think there's been a lot of issues with not providing safe places for people to escape to, have been in toxic relationships as well. But I also think that like we're going into a new age. You can tell there's a different energy now. There's a different vibration to this. Like there's a lot more disclosure at the moment about bad stuff that's happening and things like that. So I think that when men and women stop getting lied to as a collective by everybody, in particular your government and anyone to do with health or medicine or anything else like that, maybe then as individuals and as a collective, we can start to be more honest with each other as a sex as well.
And that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest, because there's been so much bullshit flying around and some people believe it, some people don't. We just need to be true to ourselves and honest with each other. Like the whole segregation of society is just like, I don't even understand why.
Okay, on that note,
it's just not acceptable.
Since you're about to be newly single, how do you feel about dating someone who's vaccinated?
Look, I don't discriminate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right that anyone would discriminate either way.
Deal breaker for me.
Look, it wouldn't be my first choice.
You're not worried about spike proteins or anything? Look, as soon as
it's like, would you date someone that...
Yeah, right? What a coincidence.
Look, at the end of the day, you know, I'm a pretty healthy person. I take, you know, my whole protocols. I've got all my pine needle teas. I've got everything. I'm not concerned about shit like that. Like, I was laughing talking to one of my clients when he was like so pro-juice last year. He won't let unvaccinated clients, staff, nothing. And he wants to catch up with me. And so he rang me this year and I'm like, oh, he's like, did you get COVID yet? And I'm like, why would I get COVID? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not vaccinated. and
did you get COVID?
I'm like, did you get COVID? He's
well
like,
done. Well
like,
done, lady.
Yeah, I did actually on my holidays. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you want to catch up with me? Do you actually feel comfortable? Because I knew he was so pro, right? So most of my friends don't care. But he was so pro. I'm like, do you feel comfortable catching up with me face to face? He's like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, okay, cool.
Beta male. No, but so on that note, oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'll be back. Sometimes his connection goes in and out, but he's also like one of the most wanted men in Australia because he's such a boss over there, doing so much. They don't like him much. But that brings me to a question. Do you, in my experience, women, and again, generally speaking, you know, don't come at me if this doesn't apply to you. I'm not trying to say you should be like this. Generally speaking, women who are made to wear the pants by their man, who's because he's not, grow to resent that man.
Well, this is an interesting question because it's kind of a bit of a battle for me because I'm already... The way I've been brought up, I'm used to doing everything for myself and not relying on other people. So sometimes it's hard for me, even though I want the man to be a man, he's got to prove that he's the man for me to let him be the man.
That's an interesting... Okay, it does kind of, but it's interesting when you think about it like this. Unless you give him a chance to lead the way without like questioning him and stuff like that, how's he gonna be the captain properly to prove it to you?
No, you totally have to give him a bit of rope and he'll either hang himself or piss me off. Like,
there you go. Great answer. Yeah. Give him So, the
You
way I
have
came
to.
go on. No, go on.
You have to let people be themselves. And you can't force a situation. It either works or it doesn't.
That's a great point. I like that answer. That was a great answer. So you do have to give him some rope to prove that he's worthy of leading the ship. And you like that, right? Like you're looking for a man to prove that he is worthy of leading the ship so you don't have to play that role.
100%.
Okay.
The thing that upsets me, if I can do it better myself, what the fuck are you here for?
I get that. I totally get that. And conversely, like if a woman's competing with me that she can do it better than me, like I don't want her around. Because again, I want somebody who's like cooperating and taking care of me and stuff when I come home from slaying all day. I don't want her to be like, well, I'm at work too, and my job is more. I make more than you. It's more important and tough shit. Like I don't care if you want to have sex tonight. I'm too tired or whatever it may be. It's just like okay, that's not. I'd rather be single. So it goes both ways. Like you have to be able to prove. It's interesting.
It's give and take. It's give and take. And it's a really fine balance because there's so many levels on how you'll connect with someone. So many levels. It's not just looks, it's personality, it's, you know, whether they've got proper values. Like there's so many things.
So what would you advise your younger self? Oh, hey, what's up?
My younger self.
Hey.
How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I only have a bit of a minute or so because it's like I got to get up. I got to like go running this morning. But
All right, let's not waste time then. Let me get right into asking you.
I find this conversation like really interesting. First of all, I think that men and women from jump need to be honest about their needs. I don't think people are honest from the start about their needs and their core values. And
Great point.
When you allow
Really good point.
when you allow a relationship to quote unquote like flourish and you haven't discussed what your expectations are, I think that, I mean, me as a woman, if I don't say what my needs are, I've been in a relationship in which I've dated betas. And me being a strong female, very independent, unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was 11. So that male figure was out of my life. So therefore, I had to step up. My mom had to step up. Therefore, I unearthed this, like, you know, male masculinity. Because this is what happens when there isn't a male role model in the home anymore. You
guys were forced to wear the pants.
Exactly. You as a female, you start entertaining this male energy and it starts like festering and growing within you as you mature as a woman. And the next thing you know, it's like, okay, I can do it myself because I've been on my own for so long.
I don't
And
need no man.
Exactly.
No, but that's how you've been trained. It's just like ingrained.
But it's not, but you know what? That type of training, it really defeats the purpose if you are a woman or a man that really wants to be in a relationship. And in a relationship.
Right. It's self-defeating.
Exactly. In a relationship where there should be well-defined roles between men and women. Okay, I feel as though I was talking to a friend of mine and I'm single. And I was like telling her, I said, look, there are things that I just don't like to do that I believe that are manly things. Like right now.
God forbid she says it, folks. God forbid she says that,
right? Okay, I'm sorry. But there, like right now, I don't like to deal with anything with my car. Okay,
there you go. Great example.
I see check engine light, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta take it to the dealer. Blah blah blah. I gotta go.
And you guys never do. You women never take it to the dealer. You wait. That check engine light stays on forever, and then the car's fucking dead.
Exactly. I mean, like right now, okay, my indicator please put some windshield wiper fluid. It's not.
I can do that for you, baby. See,
Pop
that's
the
what a man
hood.
says. Gotcha. I can feel the fluid. No problem. Gotcha, sweetheart.
It's like I expect, you know, if I was in a relationship, especially if I was married, because there's another thing as well that women have a problem with, and also men. Don't expect wifely duties from your girlfriend, and don't expect husbandly duties from your boyfriend. That's for marriage.
Mm.
Okay? So it's like if I'm married, I expect my husband, I don't have to deal with it. It's like, sweetie, honey, the tires are great. I'm not going to see the indicator that, you know what, low tire. I've already done those things. You just go in, enjoy, drive your car. I don't like taking out the garbage. Okay, that's
on the other side of that, garbage is another example. I got you, babe, no problem. On the other side of that, I don't want to have to speak up and say, honey, I want a nice warm meal ready when I come home.
Oh,
Yeah?
Exactly. It's definitely a reciprocal kind of relationship. And I think that also too, I think with women have this like concept that the man that you're with is your quote unquote soulmate. Sometimes your soulmate.
Oh my God.
Okay, sometimes your soulmate. Your soulmate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sometimes your soulmate isn't the man that you're with or the partner that you're with. Sometimes your soulmate could be your brother, your sister. It can even be the child that you gave birth to. I think this whole concept of like you and the person that you're with, that you're supposed to be like totally this one unified spirit that's walking through life, and like, oh my God, there's daffodils, and it's like I hear the bells of the church ringing and so forth. We need, as women, we need to get off the fucking fantasy train. Okay?
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's a Disney fantasy. That's a Disney fantasy, guys.
Absolutely.
It's not reality.
It's not at all. So,
Off of that point real quick, I want to ask you, in my experience, you know, I can't say this enough. I'm not trying to generalize, and there could be outliers, or, you know, it's just my experience. We all know what men are expected to bring to the table in relationships, right? More or less. Mm-hmm. What do women expect of themselves, or you know, what should women be expected to bring to the table? Because I don't necessarily know that I see much of that from society, or really any women I know
well, it's
in
like
relationships and stuff. Like,
feminism has
they don't necessarily
totally
seem to think that they have to bring much to the table. It's like, I have pussy, I have a ball.
Well, that I was about to say that. It's
love
like,
me for for this, for what I am. Exactly. I don't have to do anything.
It's like basically, I think, and I have to fault women.
But
for
he's
this.
expected to.
I fought women for being depicted or wanting depicted as vagina on a pair of stilettos. I'm sorry. It's like you should be able to bring more to the table. Just, you know, just your coochie. Sorry, you should be able to be like, for example, like when my mom was a stay-at-home mom, my mom handled like the business because my dad was in the merchant marine, so it was like money was